Tonight, evacuation orders and warnings are in effect for towns in 5 states. A mandatory evacuation has been declared in Reno, Nevada. In the state of Utah, the towns of Hennifer and Fillmore are living under orders and warnings. In Oregon, it is Sprague River and Dufour. In Washington, people have been told to leave areas near Leavenworth and Clarkston. And in California, the area around Big Sur is being evacuated. In a single night, that is 8 communities across 5 states. Yesterday, this list looked different. Overnight, Sturgis in South Dakota and Douglas in Wyoming dropped off it. The fires near them are being contained. Per this morning's federal report, Bear Butte is 90% contained and Cold Springs is at 70%. That same night, Dufour in Oregon and Clarkston in Washington joined the list. You have probably heard of some of these places, like Reno or Big Sur. Others are home to a few hundred people, and most of the country could not find them on a map. The largest of them is Reno. That is where this starts. 2 giant fires are burning around the city. The Bug Fire has absorbed the Fred Mountain Fire, and in this morning's federal report, they appear as a single line for the first time. Their combined footprint is 57,966 acres, which is nearly 90 square miles. Containment fell from 4% to 0 in a day. As of Wednesday morning, this is the largest fire in Nevada this year. And in today's report, the Bug Fire shows 12 buildings lost for the first time. To the southeast, the Stallion Fire ignited on Monday in Palomino Valley near Pyramid Lake. Per this morning's report, it has burned 31,548 acres and remains uncontained. Unified Command Leader Caleb Finch said at a briefing Tuesday that the fire is moving fast and the acreage is changing by the hour. No injuries have been reported, according to him. Governor Joe Lombardo declared a state of emergency for Washoe County. The Nevada National Guard and military police are working on the ground with Chinook and Black Hawk helicopters overhead. More than 5,500 people are under mandatory evacuation orders. Officials say 3,000 homes are threatened in Hungry Valley, Antelope Valley, Winnemucca Ranch, Harris Ranch, Palomino Valley, and the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. Here is how the Bug Fire reached these numbers in 4 days. It started Saturday afternoon near Bordertown, along U.S. Highway 395, right on the Nevada and California border. By Sunday morning, it had exploded to 6,500 acres, and roughly 3,800 households were told to leave. Sunday afternoon, crews pushed containment to 20%, and orders in the Cold Springs area were being lifted. Then Sunday evening, the fire made another run. By 9 at night, it had passed 11,400 acres, and containment fell back to 3%. By Monday morning, the fire had burned 15,000 acres, and by nightfall, 16,680. On Tuesday, the Bug and Fred Mountain fires grew into each other, and the combined perimeter measured 44,300 acres. By Tuesday evening, it had reached 57,000. This morning's report locked in that figure and dropped containment to 0. The fire has burned across Washoe, Lassen, and Sierra counties, which means 2 states. There is a number that explains the speed. The energy release component in that fuel is in the 97th percentile. It is a measure of how much heat the vegetation will give off when it burns. It is compared against every reading ever taken at that location. 97th percentile means the fuel there is drier than it has been on 97% of all recorded days. And on Tuesday, this story took a turn that no other fire this season has taken. The Washoe County Sheriff arrested a 47-year-old woman on third-degree arson charges. Per the sheriff's office, she told firefighters herself that she started the Fred Mountain Fire. She also faces a drug possession charge. A fire that investigators say began at the hands of one person drove thousands of people from their homes. It then merged into the state's largest fire of the year. On Tuesday afternoon, FEMA approved a grant for the Fred Mountain Fire. Federal funds will cover up to 75% of the cost of fighting it. One more line about animals. Overnight, the fire reached the fence line of the Animal Ark Wildlife Sanctuary north of Reno, but local officials report the sanctuary is safe for people in the area right now. The evacuation center is operating at the Evelyn Mount Community Center at 1301 Valley Road. Large animals go to the Reno Sparks Livestock Event Center at 1350 North Wells Avenue, entering through Gate 2. It is already holding more than 150 animals. Small animals go to Washoe County Regional Animal Services at 2825 Longley Lane. State Route 446 is closed in both directions and is impassable because of the Stallion Fire. Residents in the Winnemucca Ranch Road area are being told to head south on Pyramid Highway. Red Rock Road is closed between Moya Boulevard and American Flat Road. U.S. Highway 395 is open. One family from Cold Springs has already lost their home, and a fundraiser has been set up for them. A casino resort in Reno is holding discounted rates for evacuees through today, with resort fees waived. Proof of residence is required at check-in. That is not a line from an official briefing. That is a business in the path of a fire deciding what to do. If you are watching this from a warning zone or someone you love lives in one, subscribe to this channel. Tomorrow's numbers on these fires will be here at the same time, and you will not have to search for them. In Utah, part of an entire town has been evacuated. Hennifer sits in Summit County in the Wasatch Back. The Rocky Canyon fire has burned 15,366 acres, and state officials say it was human-caused. On Monday afternoon, the Summit County Sheriff's Office ordered residents of Hennifer west of Main Street to leave. Sierra Hellstrom, a spokesperson for the U.S. Forest Service, explained the decision. She said the fire had reached the point where Hennifer itself gets evacuated, not just the east side like before. Her briefing was cut short because of new threats on the fire. As of Tuesday evening, more than 500 people remain evacuated. Crews, officials say, helped farmers move their livestock out, and no structures have been reported lost. But that same night, this fire gained something it had not had in 4 days: containment at 25% per this morning's report. Some orders closer to Morgan have been lifted. The shelter is operating at the Trojan Century Center at 699 East Young Street. Large animals go to the Morgan County Fairgrounds. Something happened with that evacuation alert that is worth knowing about. On Sunday afternoon, residents across several Utah counties and some in Wyoming received an emergency alert on their phones. It said their residents had been placed in a go now status. That alert was meant only for a small area near the Rocky Canyon fire, but a technical failure sent it statewide and across a state line. Thousands of people who were in no danger at all got a message telling them to leave immediately. 200 miles south, the town of Fillmore has its own fire. The Widemouth 2 fire has burned 125,082 acres per this morning's report. It was started by lightning in late July. The southeast part of Fillmore was evacuated, those orders were lifted Monday, and the town remains in beset status. Containment has grown to 36%, and fire behavior has been downgraded from extreme to moderate in 2 days. Utah has recorded more than 800 fires this year, burning more than 455,000 acres. 374 of those fires were human-caused. 317 came from lightning, and 56 are still under investigation. Governor Spencer Cox called conditions in the state catastrophic. He also gave people a list, and it is worth repeating because every item on it has started a fire somewhere this season. Secure dragging trailer chains. Do not park on dry grass. Avoid any activity that creates a spark. Follow all fire restrictions. The reason Utah is in this position goes back to last winter. The state came into the season with record low snowpack, followed by an unusually warm and dry start to summer. Now, Oregon, home to the second fastest fire in the country. The Grasshopper Fire near Mount Hood added 13,652 acres in a day. Per this morning's report, it stands at 77,311 acres. Containment is 20%. Only the bug fire grew more in those 24 hours. Late Monday night, around 11:30, the Wasco County Sheriff issued a Level 3 Go Now order for the Sportsman's Paradise area. The town of Dufour was placed at Level 2, Be Set. The Wasco County Fair has been canceled this year. Officials cited active fire danger and severe smoke. Highway 35 is closed from the junction with Highway 26, 2 miles east of Government Camp, all the way to Hood River. Road crews are removing hazard trees while fire crews work the area. The Mount Hood Meadows Ski Resort remains under a Level 3 evacuation order, while Government Camp and Timberline Lodge are at Level 1. And south of the mountain, a second fire is gaining strength, the Austin Fire. Per this morning's report, it has burned 1,000 acres and remains uncontained. A Level 3 evacuation order has been issued for the area south of the mountain. As of today, Austin is managed by the same team running Grasshopper, so 2 fires in one forest now answer to one command post. Next is Sprague River, where the Wright Spring Fire is burning 2 miles west of the community. Per this morning's report, it has burned 51,687 acres. For 4 straight days, this fire sat at 0 containment, and this morning the report showed a number for the first time, 5%. More than 100 people were added to the fire in a day, but the projected full containment date has not moved, and it is still the 1st of November. That date is not a typo. The team does not expect a complete line around this fire for another 11 weeks. Now, Washington. The Little Giant Fire is burning 30 miles northwest of Leavenworth. Per this morning's report, it has burned 122,401 acres at 5% containment. The day before, this fire lost 21 structures in a single day. Per a joint assessment by the Entiat Fire Department and Chelan Fire and Rescue, 26 structures have burned in total. That includes 2 homes, 3 cabins, and 21 outbuildings. Nearly 2,000 structures are listed as threatened. The fire has already jumped Lake Chelan. Embers carried across the water, and a separate fire is now burning on the North Shore. The Chelan County Sheriff said last week that with this behavior, the fire will be hard to stop even with every available resource. Over the past day, 309 people were added to this fire. It now has 2,122 people assigned, more than any other fire in the country. And the same state has a new address on the map, the town of Clarkston. This morning's report lists the Alpawa Mutual Aid Fire for the first time, 8 miles west of Clarkston. It has burned 750 acres and remains uncontained. The fire is running uphill, threatening structures and energy infrastructure. Evacuations are in effect. And in California, the timber fire is burning 4 miles from Big Sur. In a day, it added nearly 1,300 acres, reaching 3,000 at 5% containment. The number of people on that fire nearly doubled in a single day to 924. Evacuations are in effect. There is a pattern in today's list, and you can see it in Clarkston, Dufure, Sprague River, and Hennifer. None of these towns is a major city, and most are home to hundreds or a few thousand people. Small towns do not have their own hotshot crews. They count on state and federal resources arriving in time, and those resources are stretched across the entire map right now. 750 acres outside Clarkston matter as much as 58,000 outside Reno. A fire does not need to be large to reach a town. It needs to be close. Across the country, 101 large fires are burning without containment. Yesterday at this time, there were 104, and that is the first decline in 4 days. 84 new fires started nationwide yesterday, down from 142 the day before, and there is one more shift we have not seen in days. 7 large fires were contained yesterday, while only 5 new ones grew large enough to be named. For the first time in days, more closed than opened. The country remains at preparedness level 5, the highest on the scale, and it has held there since the 18th of July. More than 30,000 people are assigned to fires. The Northwest is still the most active region, with 44 uncontained large fires. For 2 straight days, the country was pulling people out of the Northwest, 700 in total. Today's report shows a reversal, with more than 400 people returned to the region in a day. For scale on the resource problem, 30,000 firefighters sounds like a large number until you divide it by 101 fires. That averages under 300 people per fire, while the biggest incidents take more than 2,000 each. Somebody has to decide which fires get crews and which fires wait. The weather driving all of this carries something other than bad news today, for the first time in a week. Start with Nevada. The Weather Service issued a flood watch for the Reno area from Wednesday afternoon through Friday evening, and the zone includes the Bug and Stallion fire perimeters. The forecast calls for heavy thunderstorm rain on Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. Forecasters put the odds of rain over these fires at 40% Wednesday and 60% Thursday. That would be the first meaningful rain over this fire since it started. But this help comes at a price. Freshly burned ground does not absorb water. A downpour on a fresh scar means debris flows and mudslides, exactly what the Weather Service warns about. And the same storms bring gusty winds before they bring water. Now the national picture from this morning's federal forecast discussion. The main concern of the day is dry lightning. Lightning with little or no rain is expected over north central and northeast Washington, the Idaho Panhandle, and southwest Montana. And northeast Washington is the same country where the Sinlahekin and Kaiser Canyon fires are burning. A new zone of critical conditions is developing on the plains, from eastern New Mexico through Texas and Oklahoma into southern Kansas. Southerly winds there will gust to 35 miles an hour. Heat will run near 105 degrees with humidity between 10 and 25%. Across the rest of the West, winds outside of storms stay light, and temperatures run up to 5 degrees above normal. If you are in any of the towns named tonight, remember 3 things. Check your zone directly, not from memory. Boundaries in Washoe County changed 4 times in 3 days, And in Utah, an alert reached people who were never in a zone at all. If you have animals, move them now rather than later. The Reno Center is already holding more than 150 animals, and in Utah, the Morgan County Fairgrounds is taking large ones. Those facilities fill up, and know your road out ahead of time. State Route 446 near Reno is impassable, not just closed, and Highway 35 near Mount Hood is shut down. For everyone else, here is the thing worth taking from tonight. The bug fire went from 6,500 acres to nearly 58,000 in 4 days. At one point Sunday, it was 20% contained and orders were being lifted. 12 hours later, containment was 3% and the fire was twice the size. This morning, the report says 0. Nobody made a mistake in those 12 hours. The wind changed. Now the forecast promises the first rain over this fire, and it promises rather than guarantees. Thank you to the crews working tonight in Nevada, Utah, Oregon, Washington, and California. We will be back tomorrow with the new numbers.